hopefully you guys can see in there. It's pretty dark, I know. But I started this trunk sometime last year. I got pretty far along and I finished it, I think, in the fall, like right before winter. And for the most part, it's pretty good. I do eventually have to go through and give the tank a polish and give the hard lines a polish and all that. I do have to adjust the manifold a little bit, just kind of tilt it a little bit just to make it perfect. But the main thing I really want to do is swap out that top fitting, which has the blue plastic quick release thing. I don't know. Swap it out with that metal one down there. So I actually started this sometime early this year. I want to say like February, March, sometime, something like that. And I purchased a bunch of these little fittings and they're really good actually. They're pretty cheap considering what they are. And well, first of all, ordered the wrong sizes. So what I thought I needed, I didn't get enough of. And then what I did get, it worked, but it wasn't enough. And then I screwed up a couple O-rings. So eventually I had to buy more fittings. We got the fittings, whole bag of them. We're gonna throw all those in. That will fix any air leaks we have. I did have some. Also want to tidy up the trunk a little bit, just underneath, like hide the wiring, because you do hear some ruffling and stuff like that when you hit a bump. But I have one more thing I want to do. I want to hook this up to the cart. All it is a simple Canadian Tire air toolkit. I really want it just so I can use it to fill up tires, because I have 2 air compressors in my car. There's no reason why I can't fill a flat. So hopefully somehow this gets hooked up today. We'll see how that goes. With the seats down, you can get a better behind the scenes kind of look, and this is really what you're not seeing. So this is where I'm hoping to be able to hide the air hose. You could also see there's a lot of tension on some of these, like just the angle it's bending this, I don't really like. So I'm probably going to look into seeing if I could bend this a little bit just to kind of help relieve some of the pressure, just because again, this is really, there's a lot of pressure on this. I don't want this to fail while driving. It would really suck. So I'm gonna go through a couple of these, see if I could kink them a little bit, just so they're not as like forced. Like, yeah, that's bad too. So definitely gonna go through here. I need to figure out how I want to mount that hose up for the air tire filling thing. So yeah, I'll go ahead and start doing that, and then I guess show you what happens. Alright, so this is how we're looking right now. It's not the prettiest thing for sure, but I think it is going to help do the trick, just to kind of relieve some pressure on the lines. Just to kind of get the bends, I use this tube bending tool. I got it off of Amazon, I think for like 20 or 30 bucks. You can do different sizes. So obviously I'm using that size right there. I think it's 3/8, I believe. But I'm going to start ripping up the floor and pulling these hard lines out and swapping these fittings. And I'll show you what I use to make sure these do not leak. You just toots?
No.
This is about as far as we need to go when taking the trunk apart. We already replaced those fittings, so we've got to take out the arms or the hoses. You can also see I already did go ahead and replace this fitting. I do have to replace the one back there, a couple here, and I just want to kind of tidy up the wires and zip tie them just so they're not like flying around all over the place like right now how they are. In the future, I would like to make something that raises the air compressors, and I could add a thicker like gasket or something to kind of help reduce noise, because it is still pretty loud back here. I know Airlift sells something, but it's like $100 per compressor, and that's insane. It's just a metal with a couple of like rubber feet. That's really all it is. So I can't justify that. So probably make something down the road. Yeah, and something I did when I was first designing the wood floor was on this side, I have a fitting that isn't used for anything. I'm going to use that fitting to somehow add this hose. So then in the future, if we have a flat tire or something, we can air it up using our trunk. So I'm gonna start tying this up and let you guys know how it goes. I'm just gonna quickly show you guys the process of replacing this cheap fitting I got from work that is no good with this new all metal fitting, which hopefully is good. So far the ones I've used haven't had an issue. You just take 19, hopefully that's on the right way, throw 17 on there. I got this bionic wrench I picked up a few years ago at Canadian Tire. It's kind of like a dad tool, one of those tools that are advertised to replace all tools. Oh, if it wants to break loose, it normally works pretty well. So the reason why that was so difficult to get off is because I use this Loctite, this thread sealant. I use it because I found that the plumber's tape wasn't doing a very good job at sealing it. No matter how many times I did it, and I would try redoing it over and over again and making sure I had all the threads covered, try different techniques, it just would not hold air pressure. So I got this thread sealant, haven't had an issue. It is meant for hydraulic hoses, so this is probably not the best thing to use for air suspension. However, I have not had an issue, but I'm sure someone is going to tell me I can't use this at some point. But you know what? It's been working for me. I don't see a reason not to use it, but I just use a little dab like that and throw it back in. Now, just got to repeat this a bunch of times. I'm going to throw you guys on time lapse and get this stuff done. Alright, so this is how we're sitting. I replaced all the fittings underneath the car, or not underneath the car, but underneath the wood. I still got to replace those fittings up top. That's not too difficult to do. I kind of cleaned up the wiring. It's probably going to still make some noise. I'm probably going to put like a cushion down there or something just to kind of help reduce it, but you know, hopefully it's better. We'll see. I was going to start throwing the wood back together, but I realized I have to figure out what I'm doing with this. I'm gonna cut this out, think about it, but I think I'm gonna have to run like another quick connect underneath like the wood over to the back or something like that, and then kind of start routing it. I gotta look at it, figure out what I want to do exactly, and I'll get back to you guys. All right, so this is basically what I came up with. I try my best also to not have as many fittings as possible. Like I could honestly, if I wanted, like remove like a fitting here or like one of these quick connects here or there, and just have everything tightened together and like there's less of a chance to leak, but I think we'll be okay here. But basically this hose right here, it's gonna go underneath the plywood out to the other side. This part is gonna go through the plywood into that connector, and then on the other side, this will just simply attach to there, and then we can attach whatever fitting we want to here. So in the future, if let's say I need to use an air impact, I could hook an air impact up to this, and I could easily just start changing my tires with an air impact gun if I needed to. So if any situation occurs, we should be okay to get ourselves out of it with this. So I'm pretty excited about this. I can finally remove the little tire pressure filler I have back over there, the little tiny ones you get at Canadian Tire with the 12 volt. So I'm gonna start throwing this all into the car and yeah, show you how it works. All right guys, that's the finished look. At any time if I need to fill up my tires, I can just take all of this out, just like so. Obviously bring it down, fill up my tires with my air suspension. Kind of cool. You know, something I do enjoy doing is finding multi-purpose uses for stuff. So you have two compressors in the back, you have a tank, you might as well hook up this to fill up your tires. So also, since I have it with quick connects, I can easily swap out like a different hose. I could swap out a different like fitting. I could put an air hose in this if I wanted, and I could spray out the car with dust. So lots of options you could do with this. This is pretty neat to have. I'm probably going to keep it back here just hidden because it's empty space and it'd be wasted if I just leave it like that anyways. If I did want, I probably could like kind of put a box here and then put some hose in here, which I might do later on if I can get like a nice soft hose that I can just kind of coil up and then leave in here and forget about it. Just because those hard coiled ones I don't really like. But it was cheap. I think the whole kit was like 20 bucks or something. So I'm gonna go through and swap out those fittings and we'll be basically done. There we go, she's all back together. Now, obviously you're not going to really notice a big difference from what we did out of everything here, but we did swap out the 2 top fittings. And it's also good I ordered a bunch because I only got 2 of these left. I think I ordered 10, so got a couple left. I'll probably order more just to have in the future in case I do break an O-ring, because I have done it before with these hard lines. Just use a little bit of sandpaper and sand down the edge, so just so you don't slice the O-ring right when it goes in. It's very easy to do. So I've already gone through my hard lines, made sure all the ends are beveled, and normally I don't have a problem. I'm gonna fill up the tank, make sure everything holds pressure, and then let's try out that that hose back there, see if it fills up our tires. So they're filling up. I'm just gonna let this thing fill up and see what happens. We got a leak. Right here, this is all leaking. I'll shut the car off and fix this, but right now I think this is the only leak we have. But let's just try filling our tire. So we should be able to just fill her up. Yep. So now we can fill up our tires with our air suspension. There you go. That's it, boys and girls. It's another video. There is going to probably be a little bit more stuff I have to do for air suspension. There's a couple more things I want to do in the trunk as well, so we're not quite done, but we're getting pretty close. It's nice now though, if I do have a flat or I do notice that my tire pressure is low, I can simply just use my air suspension to fill it up. It's kind of cool. It's like a multi-purpose thing. Not everyone really does this, but some people do it. What I like about mine is it's hidden. You have no idea it's there unless you really looked. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to comment. If you liked the video, please leave a like. And if you want to see more, you can always subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me out quite a bit. Take it easy, guys.